Entire TV shows are devoted to them. We see their faces on the news, on billboards, on flyers. Even though our eyes are trained on them, many missing people are never heard from again. A Russian tourist mistaken for a spy, a woman who walked away from a car accident never to be seen again, a teacher who disappeared 3 separate times. Sometimes these cases are almost too shocking to be true. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at these 3 mysterious disappearances. Boris Weisfeiler. Military dictatorships, classified information, Russian spies. It all sounds like a movie, but it's not. These are just a few of the crazy details surrounding our first disappearance. Boris Weisfeiler was born on April 19, 1941 in Moscow, Russia. He received a PhD from the Steklov Institute of Mathematics, Leningrad. He left the Soviet Union for the United States in 1975, both to better his career and to freely practice his Jewish religion. Here, Weisfeiler became a professor at Pennsylvania State University, and in 1981, he became an American citizen. Weisfeiler was an avid outdoorsman, so when he told his sister he wanted to spend his winter in Chile, she figured he would enjoy a nice backpacking trip before returning home. In December 1984, he set a course for Chile, but he never returned. Initial reports from Chilean officials state that Weisfeiler's backpack was found near a river near the border of Colonia in January of 1985. His disappearance was ruled a drowning. Some fishermen claim to have given him directions as well as camped with him. Others tell of footprints near the river, hinting at the fact he had fallen in and was carried away. Over the years, conflicting eyewitness reports and the possible involvement of the military-run government cloud up the investigation into his disappearance. And since so many years have passed, it has become impossible to sort fact from fiction. Under the military rule of Chile, General Augusto Pinochet was well known for his crimes against human rights, including a colony called Colonia Dignidad. In this colony, political criminals of Pinochet's were held and tortured. Over 1,100 people disappeared under Pinochet's rule. Unsurprisingly, Colonia Dignidad was not far from where Weisfeiler went missing. In June of 2000, the US State Department declassified over 250 documents containing information on Weisfeiler's disappearance. The documents included various eyewitness accounts spanning 6 years after he went missing. One document even stated that there were persistent reports that Boris Weisfeiler was or is detained in Colonia Dignidad. It was suggested that he was captured as a Russian spy. A document from the US Embassy from 1987 listed 2 sources of information on Weisfeiler. One of these again confirmed his detainment in Colonia Dignidad and suggested he was still a prisoner there at that time. The other claimed a passing patrol killed him on the spot. In 2006, a letter signed by 27 senators and representatives was sent to Michelle Bachelet, president of Chile, with the hopes she could relaunch an investigation. In August of 2012, 8 retired military officers who were suspected of the disappearance of Weisfeiler were arrested. According to the courts, these officers were prosecuted for kidnapping and complicity in Weisfeiler's disappearance. However, in 2016, the case was closed. A judge ruled Weisfeiler's disappearance a crime for which the statute of limitations had passed, and that no human rights were violated. So, what do you believe? Did Weisfeiler slip into a fast-moving river to be swept away and never seen again, or the more sinister option? Did he spend his final days in a torture camp being accused of espionage? Patricia Meehan. On the morning of April 20th, 1989, 37-year-old Patricia Meehan left her home in Bozeman, Montana. The last to see her there was her landlord, who noted strange behavior, stating that she seemed hyper. 300 miles away on Highway 200 near Circle, Montana, Patricia's car was spotted driving the wrong way by Peggy Bueller and her father. Bueller swerved to avoid the collision, but the car hit the vehicle behind them. Inside that car was off-duty police dispatcher Carol Heitz. After exiting her vehicle unharmed, Heitz witnessed Patricia leave her car. Patricia walked up to heights and, as she described it, appeared to look right through her. Bueller, who remained at the scene, described seeing Patricia standing off to the side, observing the scene like a spectator, not like it had happened to her. Bueller then watched as Patricia walked into an empty field and vanished. When the police arrived, they followed a trail of tennis shoe tracks, matching Patricia's. These tracks were found in an empty field nearly 3/4 of a mile from the accident. They followed the trail until 3 a.m., but the trail eventually went cold, the tracks fading into the terrain. After 2,000 missing person flyers, countless searches and abandoned coal mines checked, there was no sign of Patricia. Her family could not explain the reasoning of why she was so far from home that very night. Even more peculiar, there have been over 5,000 reported sightings of Patricia. By June of 1989, 25 sightings had already been reported, including 3 from police officers. On May 4th, she was spotted at a Hardee's restaurant in Minnesota, reportedly drinking water alone for over 5 hours. On May 5th, she was seen twice, once inside a truck stop at Sioux Falls, South Dakota, drinking coffee through the night. Later that morning, she was seen with a man who appeared to be in his 30s. On May 19th, a sighting occurred near Patricia's home in Bozeman. Waitresses at a local restaurant noted she ate her breakfast hurriedly and appeared to be talking to herself. Later that week, she was reportedly seen at a horse auction in Billings, Montana. On May 30th, a trucker reported offering a female resembling Patricia a ride on a highway in rural Washington. She was also reported being seen at a truck stop near Tacoma. Sightings continued at truck stops all over the Pacific Northwest area. The last notable sighting was on August 30th, 1990. A woman with a strong resemblance to Patricia was arrested for littering in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The sighting made the newspaper, but fingerprints later proved the woman was not Patricia. Despite all of these sightings and an exhaustive search of the Northwest by her family, a solid trail was never found. As of 2019, Patricia's disappearance remains unsolved. Hannah Upp. We talk about missing persons all the time here on the channel, but what about a woman who has disappeared on 3 different occasions? The first time 28-year-old schoolteacher Hannah Upp disappeared, she was gone for 20 days. She was found floating face down in the waters a mile out from Manhattan. She claims she had gone for a jog on August 28, 2008. The scary part is she was pulled from the water on September 16th. Hannah disappeared right before the beginning of a new school year. She taught Spanish at Thurgood Marshall Academy. She left her wallet, her phone and her keys and disappeared into one of the biggest cities on the planet. The jog is the last thing Hannah remembered. In an interview, she stated it was like 10 minutes had passed, but it was almost 3 weeks. But Hannah did not move around the city in the days following the jog. She was caught on security cameras at an Apple store, where she checked her email. Later, she reappeared at the Apple store, then a Starbucks, and finally at several different New York sports clubs, where it is thought she showered. At the hospital, Hannah was diagnosed with a disorder called dissociation fugue. In this state, a person can completely forget all or part of their identity. The person also seems to take part in some kind of unexpected travel. Being found in the churning ocean waters was just the first time Hannah had an episode. 5 years later, in September 2013, Hannah had a new job as an assistant teacher in Maryland. Her parents were informed that her belongings were found near a path and she was missing. 2 days later, Hannah regained her memory. She was in a creek with a shopping cart. She borrowed a cell phone, called her mother, and was picked up. Only a year after this episode, Hannah was on the move again. She again took a job as a teacher and moved to St. Thomas in the US Virgin Islands. It was 2017 and Hurricane Irma tore through the area. Though her home was severely damaged, Hannah was fine. On September 14, 2017, Hannah told her roommates she was going to work, but she didn't make it, nor did she make it home that evening. The next day, Hannah's keys and a pile of folded clothes were found on a beach. For 3 days, the beaches were searched for her. The search had to be cut short because Hurricane Maria was on its way. With Hannah's affinity for wandering, always near water, it's a safe bet she found her way into the ocean. Between 2 violent hurricanes, though, her body has never shown up. Her family never gives up, however. A Facebook page was launched and a GoFundMe was started to prolong search efforts. And on a 2019 documentary called Vanishing in Paradise, her parents hold on to hope. When promoting the documentary, her parents stated, "If Hannah is still out there somewhere, we never know what unexpected connection may lead us to a clue to locating her again. All it would take is for one person to see the program and recognize her." But what do you make of these mysterious disappearances? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.